Hey everyone. So I got a lot to talk about because I missed out on a lot of time, a lot of time. I haven't been doing content creation as much, and one of the things that I wanted to try and do is get like one or two crypto rant videos out every week so that I can actually, you know, because there's a lot to say, there's a lot to talk about, there's a lot of things that I need to bring up, there's a lot of stuff that I want to discuss, and that's basically that, right? So in this particular case, like I'm in a situation right now where I'm working on two different games. Well, I was. I'm gonna go into that in a second. But my main game right now, Revulsion, which is my first-person shooter, has been getting a lot of work, and I'm still I haven't been keeping up on promoting it or doing any of that stuff, even though I've been getting a ton of like really awesome work done on it. The thing is that now that it has all this extra stuff, I'm trying to get it into, out of early access so that it's like a full game and I can move on to doing things like cryptocurrency based games. High chance the next game I work on will be Revulsion, will be a cryptocurrency based game and all that jazz. And that's something that, if you want really cool projects and, in the crypto space, give me a hand and you will be rewarded with content because I am making this a something that I really want to do. So a project that I have been working on the side, I can't really talk about it too much in too much detail, but is a cryptocurrency based game that has been put on hold because the market crash, and it's been very fucking discouraging in general. So it's been hard for me to want to like really talk very much. I can't talk about the game because it's still too early to really discuss publicly and everything like that. But that was my main form of funding at the moment, and that was my one income. And at the moment right now the project's on hold, so I don't have income beyond that. So I have a little bit of extra pressure to say IPFS nodes are cool and all, but I need to start focusing on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch again because either people are seeing the stuff that I'm working on or they're not, right? Like I have a pretty strong desire to keep just staying with the crypto space, but I can't really afford to do that. I need eyes on the stuff that I'm doing right now because that's going to be the main way that I can actually, uh, you know, continue making money. Now, so with that said, I'm pretty active on crypto-based social media, and a lot of this rant is going to come down to that. But one of the main things that I need to really start talking about, though, and start really bringing to light, is the end-user experience is awful when it comes to cryptocurrency, and I don't think there are any cryptocurrencies that aren't overly complicated and shitty. I mean, there's a few different ones that have like pretty decent examples of ways to do things like Exodus Wallet. Exodus Wallet is actually a pretty good example of, hey, you get all these different wallets, it's really easy to understand, blah blah blah. Like I actually really like Exodus Wallet because it's one of the better examples of a user experience type situation. Now, people seem to be trapped in this weird world, this alternate reality when it comes to cryptocurrency. On one hand, they keep talking about how use cases are going to, launch the value of the coin, into the future. That's actually not true. Use cases, as far as I can tell right now, use cases are irrelevant. Everything just follows Bitcoin's movement. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you look at all of the different markets and you look at like, oh, hey, look, Ethereum, totally not anything like Bitcoin. Well, look at that. It's moving, it's doing the same shit. Hey, look, EOS, it's totally not like Bitcoin. It's doing the same shit. Ripple, totally not like Bitcoin. Pretty much the same shit. Oh, hey, look, Dogecoin. This is actually a bad sign, by the way. If you ever see Dogecoin pumping, it usually means people are running for the hills. Oh, wow. Ah, shit, man. I guess for a lot of people, this was the closest thing that they had to a fucking stable coin. Even though stable coins actually exist now, and they're, like, amazing. Like the Dai coin on fucking Ethereum is actually like life fucking changing. It's insanity. Like imagine if you had the ability at any point in time to with your gold or silver or whatever the fuck you have invested in, and just say, you know what, I don't want you to fluctuate anymore. Ding, I pressed a button, nobody can stop me from pressing it. It was completely through a decentralized exchange. There's no central entity. I didn't have to ask anybody for permission. It instantly just got tethered to the US dollar instantaneously, and it cost me 25 cents a transaction. Holy shit. That is a fucking actual thing. And store of value, man. Jesus, I'd have to say that right now. Ethereum is actually kind of like life hacks fucking store of value. Provided that the stable coin is actually stable. But, who's going to want to explain any of this stuff? Nobody's actually paying attention to, like, how this stuff can actually be used. Everyone's just hodling. But if you have something like Daicoin or, a stable coin on the Ethereum blockchain, then why in the world would you ever actually sit there and hold your actual coin? You could literally just be tethered up without having to worry about your exchange taking all your fucking money. And you don't have to worry about KYC or anything. It's just right there. You can instantly just save everything. But anyway, alright, I digress for a moment before I regress again. Anyway, there's something that's really angers me too, is that Novosphere right now is probably the best example of of an end user experience where the end user doesn't even need a wallet. It's completely free to use Novosphere. But I can't explain this to people. People will, it just, in one ear, out the other. Oh, it's on EOS. That means it costs $25 to make a wallet. And they come up with some crazy ass fucking number. Even during the crash, when everything's like cheap as fuck right now, they'll still overly exaggerate it, and they'll say that it's centralized. They'll be saying that it's centralized on fucking Reddit. They'll be like, I don't like centralized things. Let me post to Reddit. I just want to punch every fucking idiot. I mean, I don't really actually want to punch anyone. I just feel that way. I just feel like, holy shit, this is fucking stupid. But, go ahead, guys. Let's just complain about centrality on fucking Reddit. But they'll sit there and they'll be like, oh, this forum is centralized. But you're using Reddit. And we already know that Novosphere works. This isn't some pie-in-the-sky thing. It's actually free to use. Oh, you have to have a wallet to use. No, you don't. You literally just go to settings, you click a non-ID, and you click new. You've got the ability to use a social media page that's based on the blockchain, 100% free, and anonymous. If you don't put in a name, it's anon. You don't even have to. You can 4chan this motherfucker, and there's no way to really censor it or anything like that. It's very hard to censor blockchain-based social media. In fact, I'm going to go out and say that one of the things that a lot of people are not fucking talking about in this space is that crypto's best use case is obviously social media. Yeah, you could say that its best use case might be like money or something like that. Maybe if it's a stable coin, it's not really good money. It's really just mostly just Ponzi fodder and stuff like that, right? But when it comes to actually, using, so you have this decentralized system where anyone can do, can post like tweets and shit. And like they can post to the blockchain, and they can actually say things. They can communicate ideas, and then they can point to files and IPFS hashes and all kinds of stuff like that, where you can have video hosting and everything like that, where there's no one central entity that can really control any of it. That is pretty amazing. And in the case of Novosphere, you don't even need a wallet. You don't even need a wallet. The benefits that you get for having a wallet is that somebody can give you tips, right? And you can claim those tips later on if you're using, you're just using the page for free. And if somebody sends you 100 Atmos or whatever, they decide to send you, then, you can make an account and you can claim that Atmos later on down the road, right? So, like, this is probably the best example. But even still, there's problems that just absolutely blow my mind. And one of the funniest examples, especially when it came to Novosphere, is this error message that said, "Fail to identify anonymous identity." Ladies and gentlemen, this is an example of a space. Cryptocurrency is an example of a space that is run entirely by people who are, they're technicians. They just don't care. They don't care about end user experience. They don't care about us. They're not making this for us. They're making it for them, and even they can't use it. So, wow, it blows my fucking mind. But if there is one thing that we really, really, absolutely fucking need in the crypto space right now is fucking improvement on UX design. Like, let's just take a look at my scatter wallet for a moment here. Now, I've already ranted about this before, but this is one of the worst fucking things I've ever seen in my life. It doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't say what you're supposed to do. And who in their right mind on the EOS IO actually decided to make it so that staking more coins uses resources on the network so that if you run out of CPU, you're just locked? What? What? Why in the world would that be a thing? Maybe what? Who thought of this? Like, okay, so I'm in a situation. Oh no, I ran out of CPU. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. Oh, let me just stake another. Oh, I can't because I guess my wallet's fucked now. What am I supposed to do, guys? Like, what? Also, too, none of it's explained. None of it's explained. None of this shit is explained anywhere. If you're going to have these three, why is it three resources? Why can't it just be one? I understand that they're like different and everything like that, but maybe this is just a side argument. But what the fuck is there three? Why is net and CPU different? Was there really a necessary reason? Am I ever going to have a DApp that's like really heavy on net usage but not CPU? No, because every single transaction on the net is going to be fucking... You could roll these into one fucking thing. Who the fuck did this? Who made this? Why? Nobody cares about actually making this shit usable. I am convinced. Well, one of the things that's actually kind of nice, and at least, seems to be kind of going in the right direction right now, is that the Novosphere guy is actually shit. I went to the wrong thing, I think. Alright, let me go to Novosphere here. Well, I could probably find it later, but he actually wrote a whole thing that I put feedback for. Just talking about yeah, I gave feedback. So I said he's actually going to have the focus this week is the UI of the forum, which in a few days. I hope whoever this guy is, you got to understand that if you're going to have resources like this on dApps, those dApps, every single transaction needs to show in a simple graphic manner, a simple way. When I click OK to do this thing, this is what my resources are. This is what they will become. Do you understand? And this right here needs to die in a fire because it doesn't explain shit. Actually, this is more confusing. I would be less confused if it did nothing. If it was just a bar or something. I don't know. What is this? Is the red how much I have? What does the 45% represent? You know how many times I've been sitting here and none of these are 100% and it's like you're out of resources. What the fuck? Okay? Okay, so here's what I'm going to say as far as EOS and stuff like this. If you run out of resources, just make it so that every transaction costs money, like Ethereum. That's it. Just make it a gas cost. That way, if I run out of CPU and I buy a bunch of coins, I can stake them. And it costs me 25 cents to stake them. That's my penalty for running out of CPU. Hooray, I can actually make it. Get rid of this shit. Put bars that fill up that say, this is how much you have. This is how much you're using. That's what I need to know. And if one of them goes over, then also too, what's this? Inputs. What is this? What is inputs? Okay, why don't you just make it so I type the value in by default? What's this bar thing? Look how fucking confusing this shit is. Okay, alright. This shit needs to be simplified, a lot. And EOS is a prime example of something that's really... But a lot of people can sit there and they can say, oh, well, maybe Ethereum is not as confusing. Maybe Ethereum is easier to use. Well, at first I used to start actually thinking that maybe Ethereum was going to be easier to use. Because all you do is you just pay. Bitcoin Cash is kind of like that with Memo, right? There's a fucking thing called Memo and Bitcoin Cash. Memo Cash, right? And I haven't put any. I haven't been able to buy any Bitcoin Cash recently. But if I go, all right, basically every time somebody wants to post something, it just costs them a little bit of Bitcoin Cash, a transaction. That's the There's a transaction fee, and it uses the coin to post, right? Ultimately speaking, for an end user design experience, maybe people are gonna be, uh, they're gonna be worried about using big, having to spend money every time that they want to do a forum post or something like that. But at least you fucking understand it. That is simple. That is simple. So as soon as we start going into this, like, proof of stake stuff where, we're staking resources and we need to have a certain amount and everything like that, this shit needs to be crystal motherfucking clear. You have to have a definite explanation of exactly what all of this actually fucking means, and if it goes over, I need to be able to fix the fucking problem without going to a fucking website. Do you understand me? Okay. All right. Okay. Because that is bullshit. This will never get adoption. This right now is too fucking confusing. There's too many fucking variables. There's no fucking way in this current state any of this shit is gonna work. Okay. And so, Ethereum people are gonna be like, oh yeah, well, Ethereum is gonna be like, Ethereum is simpler, right? Ethereum is simpler, right? No, no, because gas, they call it gas. Why don't they just fucking call it ETH? Oh, but there's some reason, for some fucking reason, there's guais. I don't even know what a fucking guai is. Alright? I just know that every time I try to do something on Ethereum, it costs me Ethereum. Why was there a need to make gas? Why was there a need to have all this other shit? Okay. So, I tried to help out a friend when it came to, explaining, like, how to, tether his coins up to, uh, DAI, which is a stable coin on the Ethereum network, and he was holding EOS. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? We know for a fact the market's going down. Bitcoin's definitely crashing. It's probably crashing right now as we speak. Yeah, it's definitely going down below the 3,200 mark. It's going to be probably dumping down to the 2,000s by tomorrow. Fuck it, whatever. Okay, so I was like, yeah, you might as well, just to learn how to do it, even if you don't really have that much EOS. Just here, I'll take you through the steps. He didn't realize he didn't have his Scatter wallet or his MetaMask. So we had to go through all the steps to get the Scatter wallet and the MetaMask set up, and then we were able to go through. Okay, finally, let's begin using Bancor so that we can actually, convert these to another fucking coin. Well, hey guys, why does Bancor, the coin, actually exist? Because all I want to do is click one button. Why is this there? Are you thinking that I'm going to invest in fucking BNT? I don't give a shit about BNT. I'm trying to get to another fucking coin. So the way this works is you convert your EOS, which I'm by all of my shit's all tethered up right now because I know the market's going down. But I would actually I would convert to BNT, and then I gotta click this magical link all the way over here that has absolutely no fucking explanation whatsoever. When all of this should have been right there, all of it. It should have been like, go to this. It shouldn't even. It should just be one interface. Why is this like 20 fucking interfaces? How is anybody ever gonna use this shit? Anyway, so you go right here and okay, apparently you gotta click this, and then that takes you to this, which is different. Okay, so so now I can take my BNT and then I can convert it to Ethereum, and then once it's converted to BNT and Ethereum, then I go to Ethereum tokens, and then from here, then he can actually tether up on DAI coin that way. Okay, all right. Well, it was only like 20 extra steps to do the same thing that should have been one fucking step. You know what I mean? Okay, so what about in the case of like the Exodus wallet? Oh, I could just use Shapeshift or something like that. Okay, there's a lot of things like that, okay? Banker is actually really useful, and this is probably as good as it gets as far as the end user experience with anything at this point in time. But when it comes to cryptocurrency, there's absolutely, it's just technicians for technicians making things that technicians can't use because they can't read each other's fucking minds. There's shit everywhere. There's buttons and links, and UX design is just a fucking disaster. Nothing explains anything. Nobody knows what coins are what. Where are these coins anyway? Like, what is any of this? This shit is horrible, and it needs to change fucking now. All of it. We need to see a fucking revolution on the UX design of this stuff, because for fuck's sake, it is driving me fucking crazy. Why in the world? Oh, okay, anyway. So, yeah, institutional money is coming in any moment now. You know what's really funny actually is that there's so many people involved with this that I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if institutional money is already involved, and everybody's just getting ready to buy the fucking bottom. So, like, and sitting here, like, Novasphere is actually probably the best example of an end user experience where you don't even have to make a wallet, and that right there puts it above Steemit, because with Steemit you have to have a confusing fucking to get wallet, and if you don't have the wallet, then you can't post there, and it might take like a week, and there's like this whole process, and then you gotta learn what all this fucking shit is. Novasphere is the only cryptocurrency dApp right now where you don't have to actually have a wallet, and all you have to do is go here and this. Nothing explains how to do that. None of that shit's obvious, and maybe it should be automatic, but that's pretty much it right there. All right. So, like, this is it. This is the fucking creme de la creme of cryptocurrency end user experience. Okay. So let's take a look at let's take a look at the opposite end. Let's try to make things even more fucking complicated. Hey Tribe, what the fuck am I looking at? What is this? When I go to a page, I want to see stuff. I want to see quality things. I like, what is this? Why did it change? What am I looking? You gotta get this shit down, man. Why is this so confusing? Why is there like 20,000 things? And last but not least, on the marvel of the marvelous, absolute fucking shit show of all shit shows combined with shit in it that I can't fucking begin to explain how stupid and smart people can be at the same fucking time, to a point where they're actually causing the fucking universe to like bend itself around their minds, while they don't understand how the fuck this shit is cancer in every fucking way, shape, and form. We can't even get our regular stuff to work yet. We can't even get that. Alright, so let's just slap something on that's even more complicated than that already, with absolutely no fucking desire. This right here is it. This is the pinnacle of where things go to die as far as any kind of logical solutions fucking ever, even if it can work. It's not even possible yet. They haven't figured out the solution. It has all kinds of fucking amazing and weird problems, okay? But let's just assume that the damn thing can work perfectly, alright? Bi-directional payment channels. So I'm gonna take everything that's complicated with Bitcoin, and I'm gonna fucking put it into overdrive. I'm gonna make it so confusing that it's like, who the fuck would ever be able to even begin trying the concept? So there are still people. The number one thing on Google right now that's being asked is like, what is Bitcoin? Well, man, maybe they should be asking, what is overly complicated Bitcoin? 2.0 second layer solution Lightning Network. Let's make this shit even more complicated. Let's just drive it right in there. Let's make it so that it's like EOS, but even fucking worse, and your money disappears because the shit doesn't actually work. Holy shit. People need to fucking pump their brakes, realize that this shit is a scam. Fucking what? Even if it does work, its UX design is so awful that it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter if it works. But it doesn't work. So it's like double whammy. Like, holy cow. And like, well, we could put this on fucking Ethereum. Ethereum's complicated enough. We don't need more. Like, they're already doing so much shit with Ethereum. Ethereum is gonna get even more complicated. Guys, do you believe, like, Serenity is not going to make things simpler, and Raiden is the Lightning Network solution for fucking Ethereum, which, I don't know if I believe Vitalik is against using Raiden, which I would I wholly believe, I wholly hope that he fucking does not allow Raiden to step 2 feet anywhere near fucking Ethereum because that is genuine fucking FUD. I can deal with Serenity. I can't fucking deal with this shit. This shit is mental retardation in the form of people who are just throwing lots and lots of technical shit. It's like I have to lock up a bunch of resources into it. So I'm staking Bitcoin into a state channel, and then that becomes like a thing, and I gotta do a Bitcoin transaction, which for all we know is gonna cost like $75 or something like that. And then now my wallet is like tied to this like thing, and then I need to make sure that there's enough Bitcoin, in that. You know what? This fuck all of it. Fuck it. Fuck this. This is fucking horrible. It's fucking stupid. There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell anyone will ever fucking touch this shit. I don't fucking. I'm being denial. Like I'd be like, how the fuck is anybody going to want to deal with this shit? And like, so I talked to people more like, oh, but what about the technical limitations? And it'd be like, and they go into more detail, and then it just gets even more and more complicated from there. Like all the stuff that they talk about here, this is just the first layer of complicated shit. Once they start talking about the solutions for the solutions for the solutions, it gets worse. It gets way worse. All of your transactions are going to get bundled together. Well, doesn't that mean that what if a bundle fails? Do I have to know what a fucking bundle is? Like, how do I know like if the thing is going in the right direction? What if something happens with the transaction in the middle of transit? Because there's no fucking way for the transaction to actually reach the end user. They're comparing it to TCP, but it's not that kind of situation. It doesn't work that way. Um, you know, this shit right here, this is pure cancer, and this is the pinnacle. If I was to say it was ever an example of technicians in total and utter cope mode trying to sell something as a scam and just doing everything that they can, grasping and clawing to just absolutely fuck something up more, like this is it right here, ladies and gentlemen. There is never a better example. I have never seen a better example. I mean, this takes like, I don't know. It's the greatest thing. Like I can't think of anything that even compares. Like I could maybe, I don't know, maybe no, nothing. I can't think of anything. All right, it just literally fucking destroys the coin. Like it makes the only fucking scaling solution that it could have something that makes it 10 times more complicated when it already was complicated to begin with, and we still haven't figured out those problems anyway. All right. So let me kind of end things on a little bit more of a positive note because this ended up being a pretty long video, but there was just a lot to rant about because I haven't been ranting enough, and if I rant more often, I'm pretty sure these videos will be a lot shorter. But the thing is, though, is like like anyone who's trying to push this shit is just either stupid or they're fucking or they're trying to scam you. there's no in between. There's nothing to discuss. There's no semi like, oh, what if it does work? Maybe it'll be kind of no. It just sucks. It fucking sucks. Just buy another coin that's faster or something like that, and you're there. You got everything you need. There's no fucking reason for this shit to ever be a thing. Okay, I don't even believe in second layer. Second layer solutions are a meme anyway. Like, what the fuck is the point? Like, if you end up using the second layer solution, then you're in the second layer solution. That means that you're using a more, you're using a worse solution, objectively speaking, from layer one. But with the only advantage is that you give up security for speed, right? Well, like, but that's what I'm using though. So who cares? Basically, I might as well just use PayPal. Do you understand me? Like, if you give up the very core points that make a cryptocurrency, then you might as well just use something else because that's it. You're done. Like, there's no reason to use the other, oh, well, I'm so glad that layer 1 exists, but let's only use layer 2, guys. Like, fuck this. This is stupid. There's no fucking way any of this makes any sense. Alright. So, now there's actually a little bit more here, and I want to try and end this a little bit um, on a higher note. The Dow Jones Industrial is kind of fucked right now. Um, we're seeing market crash, crypto's coming down to the bottom. We might be actually starting to see this. Now, I just want to end on this note. Sargon of the COD was removed from Patreon, right? And there's been a lot of talk, a lot of discussion going on recently about this. I don't know if you know who Sargon is, everything like that. Basically, somebody was removed from Patreon because of political beliefs, right? And this guy here, Sticks Hexhammer, he talks about this. He says it's a form of techno tyranny, and he has a lot of interesting points regarding this entire topic, right? This is actually really interesting to me because when you start thinking about techno tyranny, and you start thinking about one of the things that he talks about is how powerful corporations are right now when it comes to the advancements of technology, right? Like, the advancements of technology is something that really needs to be looked at because one example I could think of is at the height of Bitcoin's rise in this is actually going to be kind of out of left field, but it's a pretty good example of just how weird this shit can get, right? And I'm sure you probably already understand like how this all kind of plays out. And then I'm looking at Bitcoin on the week, and it's not even the weekly chart is not even giving me the correct thing. But um, so in the height of Bitcoin in December of last year, right? What was happening was XRP, that's this coin here, Ripple, right? XRP reached above $3, right? And this is the one of the CEOs, one of the guys really high up in the XRP coin, became extremely wealthy. He's at $3 XRP. He became one of the top five richest people on Earth, right? He was there. I think he was like number four or something like that at $3, right? Do you understand the implications of that? Considering the fact that everybody's talking about the next bull run and everything, but not only that, think about how this technology that he has as an early adopter, it placed him in such a strange situation where now all of a sudden this guy is like one of the richest people on Earth, right? One of the top five. What happens when XRP gets to like $5? Is he going to be the number one richest person ever to have ever lived? Like, okay, what if XRP gets to $10 each? Which I hate this market. I can totally picture that shit happening. What the fuck is going on with that? So, what are we dealing with here exactly? But it's the same thing with like the dot-com bubble. You have Amazon, you have Apple, you have Google, you have all these big corporations. They've already kind of gone through this sort of process, but now we're sort of seeing the same thing with this guy, for XRP. If XRP reaches $10, this guy's gonna be like one of the richest motherfuckers that ever walked the fucking planet, to a point where he makes Bill Gates look poor. Like, Bill Gates might as well be homeless if XRP reaches $10 fucking dollars. Do you understand how weird that is? Because do we want XRP, just one dude to be able to like make a robot army and start like killing people, and you know what I mean? Like, is he gonna buy an island with this shit and start his own country? Like, what the fuck is he gonna do with this? It's like the weird shit that happens with technology it exponentially grows as technology gets more and more interesting and more powerful. We end up in a situation where there's just less and less. Everything starts to become, all of the weirdest things that you can imagine start to become very realistic. Like, I mean, if you have the technology, you can make a Batman suit. Now the guy's fucking, jumping off of buildings and shit because somebody had that fucking technology. Like, at first we were kind of joking around about it. Maybe you just had superpowers or something like that. No, whatever, I want to be able to see at nighttime. Well, we got nighttime vision scopes, you know what I mean? Like, as technology continues to get better and better, you end up with weirder and weirder shit. And now we can pretty much, this guy can just fucking go Dr. Evil on us, and who's gonna fucking stop him, right? Because they can't. Well, now just think about how powerful a company like Google is in terms of like, being able to control the local government, being able to control, like, okay, so that's one of the interesting things about a lot of this is like, Sticks Hexenhammer here, he mentions, I mean, I don't know exactly where in the video because basically the whole video is just him talking about this, but he's talking about we need a way to protect ourselves from these companies that are advancing as the technology continues to get more and more advanced. Those companies can start doing weirder and weirder shit, and there's really nothing we can do to stop them because governments aren't really going to be what's in control anymore. Like he mentions in this video, he's like maybe Amazon is probably has a greater GDP alone than like the state of Texas or something. Like, do you see that where things are going? Isn't that kind of like the Ripple guy being one of the top five richest people in the world, and all he did was make a shit coin? Like, eh, what are we doing? Where's all this going? Where's all this? Okay, so I think this is actually pretty interesting. I think we do actually need to make sure. I mean, everybody always focuses on government, right? Everybody always focuses on government when it comes to like who's going to be in charge and who's going to be, who's going to be the one who's oppressing people and everything like that. So like when you have somebody like, a dude on Patreon, Sargon or whatever, getting banned from Patreon because of political beliefs because they don't like him because he's competing with the media or whatever like that. He pissed off some corporation, and basically he can be dehumaned, he can be deplatformed, he can be removed. And this is happening to a lot of people for political reasons. It's not just Sargon, right? There's a whole host of different people who are experiencing this kind of techno tyranny right now. It's like Starbucks Marxists are finally having their way of being able to like just fuck everybody over through a capitalistic system. It doesn't make any sense, but that's just it though. When we start to get into higher and higher technology, weirder and weirder shit can continue to happen. So we do need to be very mindful of corporations. We do need to be very mindful of how powerful they become, because at some point in time, who knows what the fuck? Like, if Google doesn't like you, what are we gonna have to do? Like, are they gonna like demand that that change the state laws just to fuck with you because you might make something that might compete with one of their products or something like that? Like, how powerful are these corporations getting? And I really do. I think that this, if there was a use case in general that cryptocurrency might be able to facilitate, is to help us get away from these big corporations in that respect, because maybe it's not the government that crypto is really going to thwart here. It's more or less these big corporations. I mean, I don't know. So with that said, I think I'm gonna go ahead. I felt like bringing that up, and I I think that one of the best use cases for crypto is definitely um, social media, and you can in fact make a Patreon very easily, especially on Ethereum right now. EOS is going to get a stable coin, but a lot of people don't want to deal with the fluctuating values. But if you get a half decent stable coin that works similar to the DAI, um, to DAI, which is DAI coin, right? Like this is an overly complicated user interface, but it's also an interface that's never really meant for the average user. See, the average user when it comes to DAI is only supposed to just understand that the coin is is just to simply understand that the coin will stay pegged to the US dollar, right? But there's like a whole like collateralized system, and it's fairly complicated, and I still haven't really figured it out myself yet. But to me, this is more acceptable because it's not really meant to be something that everybody can do. But with that said, um, if- you can very easily right now make a Patreon that is literally just tied to the Ethereum blockchain and use the DAI coin as the main form of a payment, and using just a regular DApp, and nobody can ban you then. Nobody can stop you then. Like, if we were to have a social media page where it wasn't just one coin, but it was like, just imagine with me a world where we can post on social media using any coin that we want, and I can respond to a post here. Like, I don't even need a wallet. Like, I have the option to not even use a wallet. Like, I can respond, and like, imagine just a bunch of checkboxes for like the different coins that I want to be able to use. So I can click, all right, I want to sign this transaction with Ethereum, EOS, you know what I mean? Like, and I can just use any coins that I want and have that be the what gets used for signing this transaction, and I can respond to people, and people can respond to me, and we can point to IPFS hashes, and we can communicate with each other. And if the government goes after one particular coin, well, they're going to have a hard time stomping all of them out. I mean, that's true decentralization. And in that case, the DApp doesn't even really need to be that complicated, because all it really needs to do is just search the blockchain for basically just specific types of text. And there's actually a way right now where I think that if we did that, then we would just totally sidestep all of this shit, because there would be no way to stop it. IPFS combined with a crypto platform that allows for posting on multiple coins would ultimately be the end game solution to dealing with techno tyranny, because techno tyranny can't do anything to stop that. They would have to make it illegal. They would have to pull out the big guns. They would have to actually have people, tracking down people who mine coins and stuff like that, right? Like, it would legit have to be an all-out battle at that point, like, in order to sort of get all these people, and it would be hard, and it would be self-destructive too, because a lot of the entrepreneurs that would be residing within these corporations, they wouldn't be allowed to leave and start their own businesses, which would probably be more profitable for them than staying with a company that's flailing about because they can't control the narrative anymore, or their bribes. There's nobody to bribe because it's all decentralized. And then the only thing that they can do then is like literally dox people and just come after them, personally. It really sets a stage where, like, it'd be much harder to do. And hell, just put a Patreon style service on the Exodus wallet. Like, the Exodus wallet is a perfectly good example. It's not even using a fucking web browser, and you could literally just set that up and make that work. Why not? I mean, even if it costs 25 cents per transaction, even if as long as you have a stable coin like DAI, or you have USD or True USD, and there's like four different stable coins on the Ethereum blockchain, right? And EOS is supposed to have at least one coming soon. I don't know if it's working right now or not, but you know what I mean? Like, stable coins and social media adoption is that's what we can use, and we can utilize that as a means right now to sort of pelt the no coiners, because they're gonna see, hey, we got cool toys that you don't, we got something that you can't have. Oh, I didn't like so and so said something. Well, nothing you can do about it, and that's like one of the best ways to sell. That's one of the best ways to say where people are gonna, a light bulb is gonna pop up over their heads, and they're gonna be like, hey, maybe this really is something, because we can't stop this guy. He's saying stuff, and we can't stop the transactions. We can't do anything about it. And he signs it to like five different coins at the same time. So like, maybe even if we were in a situation where we owned, like, the block producers on EOS or something like that, and they were all colluding, well, that doesn't matter, because he signed the thing on Monero, and he signed it on Bitcoin Cash, and you know what I mean? Like, there's no fucking way you'd be able to lock all that shit down. There's no way, especially not if it's every coin at once. And you can just launch an endless wave of meme campaigns, people monetizing freely without the ability to stop the money from coming in. No way to deplatform anyone. Like, it would be really difficult to deal with on that front. And if you don't like the fluctuations of the stable, just use stable coins. If you're in a bear market, stay in a stable coin. If you're in a bull market, then stay in your regular coin, and just deal with the fluctuations. It's really not that crazy. It's actually it can be very effective, and it can stave off techno tyranny. Anyway, all right, this is a very long video. I'm gonna go ahead and end this now. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully my next crypto rant will be shorter.